Well, basically it started when I was 11. I was playing football for Stockport Boys, and I was approached by a football coach who then asked me to go training and he was generating a team. Barry Bennell then, as I know now, it was a thing that he did, and it was his way of finding out which players were the weaker ones or the softer ones. And within about 3 or 4 weeks, he asked my parents if I could stay over at his address, and it started there within a few weeks, really.
Can I ask what he did to you?
Initially, it was sexual touching, but then it rapidly got worse, and then he raped me.
And you think that was hundreds and hundreds of times?
I don't want to put a number on how many times, but put it this way, it was for a 4-year period.
Right. Why did you think that was happening? What did you think was going on?
I spent a long time struggling to deal with, and other people that have abuse. It's very difficult as an adult to put your mind as a child, because throughout your life you feel that you're an adult even though you were 11, and to defer that to as a child. Now I know I was 11 and I was vulnerable, but the thought of that as an adult is very difficult to come to terms with. But I know how that feels now, and I was a child and I was vulnerable, and to be targeted like that, it wasn't my fault.
He frightened you, he threatened you, he controlled you when it came to playing football as well, didn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. And when I was such a young age, it was only within a few months really that he'd used those words of, you do want to be a footballer, don't you? And it was that control that all I wanted to do was be a footballer. It was my dream, it was something that I'd always wanted to do. I'm getting quite emotional now. But he threatened me in a way that was going to be taken from me.
How did you, as a young boy and growing up through adolescence, deal with this horrific secret?
I still now don't know how. My therapist says because I've got inner strength, but I would say that I put it in boxes, and I always refer to boxes because I try to put it in a box and put it to the back of my mind and focus on my football, because that's all I ever wanted and I dreamt of. And I'd say it was a case of, if I can't deal with this, then I'm not going to be a footballer. Right. So with that came a feeling of, I need this and I have to go through it and I have to put up with it. And if I can't put up with it, then I'm not going to get it.
And the reason that you didn't speak about it to anybody, parents, siblings, friends, because you thought the football would be taken away from you?
Yeah, I mean, inside I was crying out for somebody at that club, at Crewe Alexandra, to say, what's wrong this? Even back then, even though it was still, in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't prevalent, but I just wanted somebody, but it didn't happen, so.